after the win they got over DRX, winning the coin toss to actually have the advantage and have blue side here for game 1 of a best of 5 is massive. Let's see where the picks go, because we're also on patch 25.17 with some big nerfs to 2 of our biggest top laners in the Gwen and Rumble. So that may change where priority goes a little bit here, and maybe we'll still see those picks later on in the series. I still think the Rumble in particular is very, very strong. The Gwen took a pretty big hit to base armor, so it will impact her laning quite a lot, as well as her ultimate. As Yone is taken away from closer already here.
Yeah, it does mean that Tunara and Pantheon, one of them will get through. We, as the space did mention, have had a lot of teams letting Pantheon through, just in trades for other picks, or sometimes picking Wukong instead of it. But now Wukong is banned.
I think you can still first pick Yunara, even with the changes to some of the bugs she had, like on Runins. She's still very strong in my mind, and there's no Wukong anymore. So if you leave it up, I think there's a pretty good chance that Bro do snap lock it, but it would be in trade for the Pantheon. Now that choice becomes a little bit more obvious, but you get the 1-2 on red side that Nongshim are pre-planning here. Might be an Annie rotation of some kind. So let's see. Choice is yours, Hype. And they'll just go for Morgan's Rumble.
All right, so Rumble got nerfed, but he's still first pick in game 1. We have a lot of strong stuff. Pantheon, Orianna, Jarvan still available. Maybe that's what Krako's going to be going for, especially with the Orianna lock-in.
Yeah, surprised to see the Pantheon instead of the Orianna, or sorry, instead of the Jarvan with the Orianna, just because it's a better ball carrier and has been very versatile, especially in our last few games we saw at the end of the week. We just saw like an insane performance from Cuz. We saw how powerful this is with Orianna. But will be a change up here as the Ornn is being considered for Kingen into the Rumble, kind of the counter pick for this Rumble. The Rumble, it's such a power pick for both of these top laners. I think especially Kingen has had some really insane performances on the pick, so that's part of why I think Bro just take it away here already in game 1. I like the draft so far for Bro a little bit more, though. It's got consistent engage and setup. Feels a lot more flexible from here than what Nongshim have, because they have some scaling in this Ornn, which is kind of a slight nullifier of the Rumble, but teamfight power just isn't there yet. There's no Nocturne with this Orianna, there's no Jarvan, so that engage isn't as consistent. Sivir banned.
Yeah.
They weren't planning on playing it.
I really want to see what Ju's going to play. You know, how much scaling are we going to get out of this pick? How much value does he get from the ornaments? You're going to get value regardless, but generally look at like the hyperscalers, the hyper carries for the ornaments for maximum value.
Bro and Brewing, by the way. That says believe in OTP lol. Just put it out there. He's broing and brewing. He's a knower.
Nice.
See what this final ban will be here for the side of Nongshim. I think Xayah actually kind of works here for Bro if they wanted to run that with this composition that has such good engage. You can follow up pretty easily. It's also good into Pantheon. Ban the Braum away instead, because Lucian is also pretty scary in this draft. Corki is one of those catch-all picks that's incredibly strong with so many different things.
Yeah, Corki, very good win rate, 12-4 at the moment, so not surprised to see it prioed highly already. When
I think about GU and these types of drafts that kind of come together in such a strange way, it makes you wonder, like, is this the Neela Orianna angle? It doesn't really work very well with Ornn. Is it the GU Smolder in game 1? I don't think so. I think it's going to be something a little bit more standard here. Maybe even a Zeri, as they'll just get the Nico, which is so free in terms of lane control. One of the highest value picks you could get. It's kind of surprising, in fact, that like Leona was banned instead, you know?
Yeah, it definitely is. I do wonder what the plan is now to deal with the Nico. And we don't even really know what's going to go alongside of the Nico.
Is it just Rel, Misfortune with Jarvan, Cataclysm? No.
Maybe Varus?
Looking like a Varus angle for sure with the Nautilus lock-in. On-hit Varus into the Ornn feels pretty good. You have a lot of setup already.
It's just a great pick. It's fantastic damage, burst damage follow-up.
Yeah, it's one of Hype's classic favorites. All CL 80 carries have played a ton of on-hit Varus. It was way more popular there than Lethality for a long time. It'll be Kai'Sa instead. This is a kind of weird angle for Kai'Sa. I think it follows up on the engages pretty well, but also just feels like it's so early to see this in draft. In a draft like this, it feels like it's a pick away, just saying, Gio, he's not going to get this for the rest of the series. And the Misfortune will be locked in here just with the Nico instead. I'm going to be honest and say I think Bro got the way better draft here. They got the Rumble with Jarvan set up. They have Annie. They also have Kai'Sa for follow-up, and the Nolus makes sense, whereas the ornament value here feels incredibly low for Nongshim RedForce. They're playing an AD carry that doesn't traditionally scale as a scaling front-to-back AD carry. Against Misfortune, she's a combo-oriented pick, so she can combo with the Ornn ultimate a little bit, with the Orianna a little bit, but it feels like the comp is a little bit trickier to play out here for Nongshim, despite it being like a Nico Misfortune draft. It just feels like at this level, you're going to have a bit of a struggle with this one. So it's also putting all your eggs kind of in the Geo basket, which is never safe. Karis!
Hey, Karis. How's it going? Blow it up.
A former Bro himself. He's actually doing very well for himself in the LPL.
Yeah, absolutely. We also got Vital, Dindin, and Luan all coming down here to support and cheer on, I would assume,
Nongshim,
the side of Nongshim.
100%.
Maybe they're undercover bros, you never know.
I mean, they are bros, but I think they're probably bro aunties today.
Yeah, almost definitely. Well, very nice comp on the side of Bro from the blue side. Very curious about to use Misfortune. Can be great follow-up, but we'll have to see those team fights as we're getting ready. Let's hop into the rift for game number 1.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 미니언 생성까지 30초 남았습니다.
Alrighty, let's go. Game number 1, our first play-ins match and our first best of 5 here at the LCK.
First,
and I guess we had them at Road to MSI.
Yeah, big fearless BO5 angle to be explored here because Road to MSI obviously had a lot of teams in it as well, but not quite as many as we're going to have here with play-ins and playoffs. Like, Bro is getting involved in BO5, so we haven't seen that since, you know, LCK Cup, or Kespa Cup, really, actually, for Bro, where they were champions. So
True.
They proved it back then.
True.
This lane is going to be pretty favorable for the Misfortune and Nico. Obviously, even without the Misfortune lock-in, you feel pretty good about Nico into any melee support, but with the MF on top of it, that pick works a lot for the lane. Prio is really important right now in League of Legends because it allows you to dictate the lane swap that comes in later, and we've said it so many times with Rise Group, and as Bro is our third place team for Rise Group, drafts don't always matter. But I like what they put together here. I think it's got a lot more synergy and a lot more simple execution.
It is very simple as long as I feel like Krako's having a good game. Sometimes the Jarvan can somewhat dictate it, but Krako's been playing really well recently. I feel like that's part of the reason why they were able to get over DRX and make it here in a play-ins in the first place. Pretty quick turnaround for them, you know, going from the Sunday match straight into Wednesday. You got to learn a new patch. You got to go ahead and be ready. You weren't even 100% that you were going to be playing here.
Yeah.
But we'll see what their preparation looks like.
You go straight from the elation of making it here to realizing what that means. So you got to be here, you got to show up here, you got to play this really incredibly tough BO5. Calyx 0-6 on the Orianna. Again, just a product of his win rate in the Legend group. I think not actually a indicator of how good he is at this champion. He's performed really well on this pick, even in losses. As his bottom lane is going even worse than I kind of imagined. His Hype lost half of his health bar at level 1 and had to pop his potion early, and is really just trying to auto when he can, get as many last hits as he can. He's getting a lot of value out of that Doran's Blade right now. And I say that as a joke, he's not really. Just to make it clear.
No, thank you for that, Wolf. We weren't 100% sure. I do feel like as long as he doesn't get dove, even if he falls behind a little bit, like the Kai'Sa still has value later on in the game, just following up on the engages and stuff like that. But yeah, this lane is going to be a bit of a disaster for them, somewhat unavoidable.
We'll see if they do the classic buy Cull and hope for the best. Return, use their top side prio. Yeah, like that may just be what they have to do. Paulo has unsealed, so he can try to hold the wave and TP the Rumble down. He's gonna try to hold it.
Okay, there's the TP, missed hook. And the second the TP came in, Nongshim were already just getting out of there, but this is pretty common, you know, if you try to go for a dive, you just have the top laner TP down because he wanted to swap anyway.
Yeah, and this is why Unsealed Spellbook is so common as well. One of the many reasons, but the most common reason. Morgan gonna avoid that. Paulo actually staying here. This could be a little tricky play. Hex Flash.
Yeah, maybe look for... Did he mess that up? Yeah, he messed that up.
It's kind of tricky. Is what I'll say.
Yeah, it's very
it's a fat wall.
Very difficult, yes, of course. But yeah, if you were there, and you know, they're pretty squishy. Maybe force some summoners out, but not meant to be.
But like,
he's still here, by the way.
Yeah, he missed it. So like, could he try it again? No, he's just going to go top lane and join Hype. Not even going to commit teleport at this stage. There's the Cull buy I was talking about. This is what you do when you pick Kai'Sa in, I feel like, I swear, 80% of the games I cast at least. Or you just lose lane to almost anything by a Cull and go, no, it's fine. I will press R and kill somebody later. Don't worry about this early lane. It's totally fine. Remember when MF was actually extremely meta? I feel like we saw this matchup all the time, and Kai'Sa was always buying Cull and struggling and lane swapping.
Yeah. I do feel like they'll need Hype's damage as the game does come along. You know, a decently tanky front line with the Ornn and the Pantheon. Not the tankiest thing we've ever seen, but, you know, outside of the Kai'Sa, you've really just got the Jarvan for 80 damage with Annie and Rumble. So, gotta have something on top of that.
Good read on the swap backs here. I'm going to be sending the Nico mid, actually, for now. The Sports will join up there, but it is going to be 80 carries meeting on the bottom side, so good read there from Gio. Knowing they can get an advantage out of this. Kingen did not use his teleport yet, so he's pushed the wave into the top side. Morgan loses farm, and they're going to end up back in the same matchup they were already winning. And Gideon takes that as a sign to try to start up this dragon. The mid prio they're going to secure here as well, and I just don't see a realistic contest here for Bro. And Closer is going to have to catch this wave, so he can't go over here and use his level 6 spike, whereas Kingen, because he has TP, can be nearby here. And if they commit to a fight, he just shuts it down and then TPs back to the top lane. Bro are kind of walking into a trap here, potentially.
Unless Krauko gets in and steals it, he's got the timing, but he's not going to get the Drake. And that is what he was looking for, as the big ult's going to come in from the Orianna. And already we have first blood going the way of Gideon as kind of a half-hearted attempt to get that dragon. And now we have the TP we're talking about, as Kingen doesn't lose much at all.
Gets the cannon, plus 69.
Boy. Huge.
Huge.
Awesome, in fact.
Yes.
Very good.
A positive.
Lovely.
Yes.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, it's just
rad.
Huge. Groovy. It's a very nice play here from Nongshim. It gets them a massive lead early.
It was just really, everything was well read. Like, they knew the swap was going to come back down for Hype and Palu. They sent Gio there first. They got back control. Kingen walked down the mid lane. Because they have Nico, they can clear the wave in mid faster than Palu can. They already had Prios. Lehens is looking for even more here. Not going to find it, doesn't look like. But, like, they had so many ways to make sure Bro couldn't do that, and Krako's steal attempt is totally fine, because if he just gets it and gets away, then they just hijack the dragon, and all of those things don't matter, and like maybe some farm is denied. Paulo and Closer nearby. It's a good smite here, though, from Gideon. Krako has to flash because he used his flag and drag to get into the pit. So he loses his summoner on the attempt, but I think that was the best they could have tried for. If they had committed to a fight, it would have been a massacre.
Yeah, it's very true. It's just unfortunate that our level 3 Nautilus just kind of went in there and died. Gave first blood to the Pantheon, which is already an issue. It's not like the Rumble is popping off in a big way at this moment. Just going to equalize the wave as I speak. So getting pushed in by the Ornn. On top of that fact, Nongshim are going to be getting 3 grubs. So they have 2 objectives. Infernal Drake first, 3 grubs, first kill, first blood here.
But
and a scaling comp outside of the MF.
There's one thing Bro has infinitely more of right now. Flowers.
Tempo vibes?
We got, well, also, no, they don't have, I don't think they have that right now.
Okay.
Degon might be like going, oh, there's a Tempo vibe back there. I can like hear his voice and everything, but we have a new flower counter. See it in the top left? That's new.
Whoa.
Yeah, I
Wait.
didn't notice that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they have infinitely more flowers than Nongshim have. So there's
I
that.
think they have one more flower than Nongshim has.
Yeah, but if you multiply the amount of flowers that Nongshim have by infinity,
You would
or
have
even like
0
1 million
flowers.
billion, approximately 1 million billion, they would have 0 flowers. Yeah.
0 flowers, yes.
So therefore,
Yes.
Hype.
Very true. Yeah, Hype's really kind of struggling just to survive. He is going to barrier just to get to the wave. And, well, he'll at least be able to do that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, hiding on bush in the bottom lane, doesn't look like Calyx is going to fall to this. Or is he? Nope.
No. Too wise. Yeah, Bro's kind of like, damn, these legend teams macro, man.
Whoa, they use, like, actual mechanics and macro? That's not what we do in Rise Group.
We had quite a few Bro Predators, actually, more than I expected. Yeah.
4 out of 14.
And I'm not saying it's over. They have a good draft. It's just there's a pretty big hole in every single lane.
Yeah.
And they
got a
didn't get
couple of Nongshim Predators here on the cast, so...
If you want to count that one pedal as an objective, they have a one objective. But although if you don't, which we don't, they don't have any.
All right, we got Pantheon coming up. There's the knock-up. The Pantheon goes in. Gideon making it happen. And Morgan's just going to go down. Used his flash to try to get away from the Ornn ult. Yet he still got hit by the Ornn ult.
Yeah,
and so he's just dead.
Not ideal. Not ideal. We'll watch it again, as this is a really nice Pantheon gank. Morgan flashes here, but is unable to go to the left, which is the direction he needed to go to avoid that. And then he went boom. That's a second kill for the Pantheon. Significantly ahead now. Whew, this is starting to feel like Nongshim's like, this is what it felt like for me for the last 13 series.
Yeah. It's almost like they're due, you know? They're due after all this time. It's like we lost so many times in a row that now we're going to take out all of this anger, sadness, and get revenge against a team that doesn't necessarily deserve it, but they kind of met Nongshim at the wrong time. Perhaps. We'll see how it goes. You know, Nongshim, we didn't get to see a lot of them winning. Like, they won some games here and there, but...
Yeah.
You know, can they maintain a lead? Can they continue to macro well? I am curious, as the Timbers did happen, and then Closer died, so...
Good gank from Lehens. The follow-up is there.
Yeah.
Commits his flash for it, but 100% worth. And, like, you say, you know, will they be able to hold on to this lead? With the lead they have now in this game and how well they've been able to snowball it, I'm pretty confident we're going to see another Kroko attempted steal, it looks like here. Flashback available, and I think he should think twice.
Yeah.
He does. I mean, like, the problems that we saw with Nongshim in the Legend group when they had leads occasionally over big teams was that they weren't able to, they were always small leads, nothing like this. Was the inability to turn off objectives or to take an Otacon correctly or try to go for a Baron turn. In this game, I think they could do kind of whatever they want when it comes to late game objectives, and they have such a good comp from ahead with this Orianna. Gets the Tibbers out, and then Lehens is like, well, there's no Tibbers. I think I can just go in on this flashes for the root and the extra damage.
Yeah. No overreaction from Calyx, just a very simple nice after the play. And it was a nice play.
I also think,
Set of Lehens.
realistically, if you're a pro player in this situation on Nongshim, after getting completely dismantled in the Legend group over and over and over again, and what you've learned, what you've gained, like the theory of the Legend group when it was designed, right, is that, you know, if you're in the Legend group, you're going to struggle if you're on the bottom side of things, but you should be able to learn and grow so fast. I think, so we're going to have a bit of a skirmish here. Hold my thought.
Yeah, the hook is down, and so just a bit of free damage on a Kroko. I say a bit, it was 66% of his health. Palu's out. And the disengage cone comes in. Not that Nongshim could really close the gap, but it just kind of shows that, you know, bro, half-hearted engage, and then they realize that they've gone a little bit too far, even though it wasn't that far at all.
Yeah, that should be this turret going over. So they already have feats of strength, but I'm proud to get first brick as well. It's going to force a teleport out of closer. Just opens up the map so much more. I mean, there's 4 members of Bro on top side to defend a turret, and Kingan's just chilling. And Lehens has had such a good game here. He loves his AP junglers. Probably like starting to feel like he should have built Zazax in this game with how much damage he's doing in these trades. But I was going to say, if you're Nongshim, I think your attitude coming into this series is, I want to show these Rise teams what a Legend team looks like, even though I went on that 13 loss streak. I'm the better team. Like, we should be outclassing these players. We should be outclassing these teams. And so far, and I think this is why Calyx didn't have a huge reaction there, that is holding true. Yeah. Your attitude has to be, we smash these guys 3-0. They're not even close to our level, and that's what it looks like here in game 1.
All right, well, no flash this time. They're going to flash in Will Gideon, I believe. No, he just jumps in as the stun comes down, and Gideon is going to fall. They can't do enough to Morgan, and now the equalizer still available. Krako and his counter gank get so much work done, as finally they will take him down. So that's a couple of shutdowns going the way of Bro now.
Yeah, that was a really clutch turn there. Morgan narrowly survives. It's a big equalizer there for the finish, and you get 2 kills back. Gonna put a big dent in that gold lead. So watch the play again. It's a little bit disjointed here. And like they get the knockup onto Morgan, but Krako's here and he has Cataclysm and they're under turret, so Gideon takes so much damage, gets taken out there. Morgan survives, and that's enough to get the equalizer down, and Kingan just will not escape. Kingan, you can see turning back like, maybe I get onto Morgan. Nope, Morgan too respectful. Not going to be able to kill that Rumble. Ends up being 2 kills over, split between the top and jungle of Bro. So big injection of gold that they needed so desperately on this this Rumble especially.
Yeah. Sometimes as the jungle player, you just got to wait for your opportunity, as Lehens might be in a little bit of trouble. Nice rocket belt to get away from that. I think if he gets hit by that, he might just die, as this flash is like 5 seconds away.
Kingan doesn't have ult after that last play either, and so this is a really tough fight to quantify here for Nongshim. Like, he could TP in, but he won't have his ultimate. I think this is a great call from Bro. Sure, they don't have their equalizer, but they have the positional advantage here, and they have Annie. King is just going to decide to take a turret here instead, so they get something in exchange, but just not going to be able to take that team fight. Bro with a snap call on this one, and went behind, trading, you know, a turret, especially one like this, it doesn't matter as much to get a little bit more power in the mid lane, for example. Maybe be able to use it to set up for this next dragon. It's definitely advantageous. It's not going to be a massive trade up, but it's the best I think you could look for as Kingan's on the flank.
I feel like they're losing too much. Like 2 turrets here, the mid turret goes down. They're losing their Raptors even. Like Krako gets it, he's out of position. I think Nongshim's response to that was very good.
Yeah, no, like Bro want Nongshim to try to force that fight in a really disadvantageous position, and they get the fight win and the Herald. Nongshim get way more out of this. Don't like misread me on this, fans, but I think this was kind of the only call Bro could make given the game state, and let's see what they get with this Herald, because it's the only W they've gotten really in this game outside of a failed dive bottom side with a good counter gank from Krako. This is right when the dragon is spawning. This would be soul point for Nongshim, so they're trying to use this to crash into mid and get some prio on this dragon. But Kingan's on a flank again. Will be spotted by Morgan. Crash does go through. If they could maybe collapse onto Kingan here, I mean, I'm trying to see ways for Bro to win this fight, because yeah, they have tons of prio right now, and they have all the engage in the world with this Annie, with this Jarvan. Everything's up, the equalizer's back online. They could still win a fight straight up, but this Kingan flank is a big issue.
Yeah, they don't really get solid vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got in, they had prio on the river, and then they were like, huh, we don't have any wards. Now they're trying to go on a Kingan here, nice buffer, but that is an Ornn. Even the anti-timbers and the equalizer goes in, and now the massive follow-up from the Nico is there. The turn in the fight is gigantic for Nongshim. Hype is out of the fight as well, Closer is down, and Kingan lived through every single ult that they blew on him.
Yeah, maybe better luck in game 2, buddy. I think that if when I mentioned before, like maybe collapse onto Kingan, I meant when he was on the flank, not when he was an Ornn.
Not like this.
With tons of MR and with all of his teammates right with him. As the equalizer here is used so early, it's on the multiple players, but it's super easy to just step forward and get away from it. And the follow-up from the Annie is decent, but just not enough power in this setup here, and you used so much of all of your cooldowns and tools and buttons on an Ornn, and then Nongshim are like, cool, thanks for the free turn. And I think their best bet was using their prio. If they had been able to, without vision, it's tough, but if they were able to identify where Kingin was earlier and get him and pinch him, I think they would have had a better chance there, but they just didn't have that information. They tried to catch him because he was the only available target to engage on. Just wasn't a good target to engage on in reality. He was the only one they had, though, I guess they decided.
I feel like, yeah, it kind of jumped the gun, you know. It's difficult to go all in onto an Ornn, especially when your comp is so burst-oriented, but they saw the opportunity, and it did not pay off for them. And Nongshim, relatively smoothly here, as now they're trying to close the gap on a Krako pretty deep in his own jungle. Krako, the one guy that was kind of fed for his team, and fed, I say him pretty lightly at this point. Jiu just gonna flash away from the stun that comes in. He's like, well, I have this flash, I might as well use it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the entire map is falling apart. Calyx playing a fantastic game of Orianna, just taking the bottom inner.
He's sitting on 8 Dark Seal stacks. He's like nowhere near finishing his Rod of Ages, but it just doesn't matter because he has a completed Horizon focus, and they are going to be able to get these side turrets and as well as the inner here in mid. And if the timing of killing Krako was a little bit later, I think they just take Otacon for free. Instead, I think they will use Otacon to posture a team fight because they have Orianna, Ornn, Misfortune, and Nico. If Nongshim can't set up a turn on this one, I think those issues that we saw in the Legend group perhaps persisting, but they're on the bottom side of the map where Otacon is, and they're setting a trap right now. Palu is caught.
Yeah, very nice buffer, but still gonna get Shockwave. Meanwhile, Lahen's in a bit of trouble, so he's gonna go down, and Kingin's jumping in against 3 people, gets the kill. Ornn, the assassin, is back here on the Rift. When you're this fed, you can essentially just do that if the Kaisa is that close.
I mean, if you're Bro in this case and you have no vision of your own jungle, they could be running Otacon down. Someone has to go in and check, but it was Palu who found himself isolated on the side there and caught. Jarvan wasn't up. Krako was down from the previous exchange, and they just get picked apart here. As even though Lahen's is caught, he gets an ult off, and that's enough for Kingin to help set up that kill. And Nongshim, even though it wasn't a turn off of Otacon, set up that vision trap in jungle, get the kills, grab Otacon itself, and it is going to be another objective in their pockets. This Bro still sitting on that 1 petal. No longer infinitely more petals. This Hype avoids the root at least. And actually, Lahen's ultimate, it was kind of off screen. I thought it was one that did a little bit more. No, it's just Ornn doing massive damage.
Yeah. Kaisa, no flash, no barrier, just nowhere to go. And it's a being a 1-for-1 that is just even better for Nongshim. We jumped from like a 3K gold lead to a 6K gold lead, now to an 8K gold lead with Otacon. I guess this really is a taste of Legend Group that Bro is getting here in Game 1. Talked about how important it is for Bro to kind of tap into the losses that Nongshim has been experiencing recently, but it's the exact opposite happening in Game 1.
It's looking pretty Brover right now.
Yeah.
But look, you've got, it's a whole best of 5.
It's just Game 1, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta, I'm sure Duke's gonna have a lot of words for them, but just keep it together. Karis is watching.
Do it for Karis.
Do it for Karis. As, yeah, I don't think Closer is the best target, but he's stepping pretty far up. And they are not going to commit any further. It's just no Baron yet, so Nongshim are just taking turrets off the map surgically here, piece by piece. Like old rotten teeth. I don't know. I mean, they're what? They're like, I said surgically, and I was like, it's...
yes.
I was like, I don't know what kind of surgery this would be, but I don't know. It's... Bro's got stuff that needs to be removed. That's what Nongshim said. They're like, this is mandatory, sorry. And your insurance will cover it.
I guess, you know, like the outer turrets are kind of like teeth, you know?
Yeah.
Just take them out one by one.
It's okay, because they're baby teeth, because you got the inners.
Yeah, here we go. Nice little engage for Lahen's. Just going to hit the front line, as Palu is not much of a front line. Just kind of disappears. And it's a turret. The rest of the team really just abandoned ship. Not that we can blame them, really. They're just going to run away. 10,000 gold almost now.
Yeah. To be clear, there is nothing Bro can do that's a great choice, unless Nongshim make a mistake. So Like, if anyone's calling Paulo out for that, yes, sure, he could have played safer, but if he plays safer, then maybe Nongshim just kill the turret faster, you know? Like, you kind of have to hang around here and hope there's a big mistake made. A lot of engage is used here, but you don't have punish because you're 8,000 gold behind. If it's an even game state and everything gets used like that, like the Nico and the Ornn ult get used, maybe you find a turn there, maybe you actually find an angle, but on this scenario is, you know, Krako's been fishing with his flag a lot.
Yeah.
In this first game, maybe this time is
you gotta do it. You gotta do it now. It's not gonna feel good, but you know, they've had some teeth pulled, so you gotta just send it. As in he goes, he's not gonna get the smite. Poor Krako, as at least he will get out for now. As ooh, the max range knockup comes into that piece of the wall. As they're trying desperately to take out Jiu, they might just be able to, but they're not quite able to. Triple kill comes in for Jiu, and this game is very much over. 24 minutes in already.
Yep, no Baron required. Got 5 players and a grand Starfall to celebrate.
Oh boy.
I mean, he's really celebrating. And for Nongshim, this is not a series win, but it's certainly a lot of momentum gained that they have not seen in a while. Or very, I'd say probably the most one-sided game win we've seen from them. I think we could say that factually since the split of groups. And Nongshim win this in extremely dominant fashion. Pro Predator's kind of in shambles right now as the gap between Legend and Rise seems pretty big in game 1.